at point blank range without at all reaching for a weapon or putting that cop in danger.
Well, let me bring in John Cardillo. He's a former NYPD police officer, host of John Cardillo Show on 1290 WJNO. John, there were other things found in the car. Is that true?
Yeah. The most significant is 2 pounds of weed, 2 pounds of marijuana in the vehicle, and thousands of dollars in cash from illegal drug sales. And so this debunks both the narrative that this was a routine traffic stop. No such thing as a routine traffic stop, as we saw in Memphis, where Officer Sean Bolton was murdered going up to what he thought was simply an illegally parked car. And if Dubose was really going to pick up his 9-year-old son to go to a movie, was he doing this with 2 pounds of weed and the proceeds of illegal drugs in the car? So this changes the dynamic of the entire encounter and changes the motive for why Dubose would want to flee. Yes, it most certainly does. And it raises the reasonable doubt. Of course it does. Because now you've got a drug dealer trying to flee the police because he has felony weight drugs. It most certainly does, Counselor.
But it still gives no reason as to why he was shot in the face.
Hold on. It does give a reason as to what the officer might have observed in Dubose's behavior that we are not seeing.
Okay, but none of that made it into the police report.
It didn't?
We now know. You're talking about things we now know.
We have to judge, if I may, we have to judge the police officer by what he knew at the time and not try to create evidence afterwards of what might have been in his mind.
And pray it wasn't planted.
What did the prosecutor omit? Why is the prosecutor selectively releasing good details about air freshener, and hiding details about 2 pounds of weed? This is highly relevant, and as a defense attorney, you would be salivating.
I don't think it's relevant at all, and I'll tell you why. Because what does having marijuana in a car have to do with a threat to the officer that justified him shooting to kill a man who was sitting in the driver's seat complying with all of his directives?
A man who started his vehicle and began to pull away to possibly, what we now know, evade a felony drug arrest.
You're talking about things that you now know. You're not after that. You listen, you can only deal with what the...
Hold on. It doesn't matter what we know. It only matters what the criminal thinks the police officer knows. When a police officer walks up to a car that he thought passed the red light, but the occupants robbed the bank and they shoot him in the face, they think he knows they robbed the bank. So Dubose may not have known that the officer didn't realize there were 2 pounds of weed or didn't smell it. Everyone is giving the benefit of the doubt to a guy arrested 60 times with pounds.
No, we're giving the benefit of the doubt to a man who was shot dead by a police officer again. That's what we're giving the...
Resisting the police officer in the course of what we now know was the commission of a felony.
Well, then why did you call his backup? You don't have to shoot someone dead. Call your backup. It wasn't like the guy zoomed off. Right. He rolled off.
Call your backup. It was a split second. The guy started the car and took off like a bat out of hell.
Okay, but one really
bat out of hell.
It's not legally justified. It is illegal under the Constitution and under Supreme Court decisions in the United States to shoot somebody, even who is fleeing a police officer, unless there's an imminent threat to the police. You know, you can shout me down all you want, but this is actually the law in the U.S. You can't just shoot to kill because someone's fleeing from a police officer.
Wrong. Tennessee v. Garner says the police can, Counselor.
If they're a threat to the police officer or someone else, not just because they're fleeing.
Stop it right here. Stop it, everybody.